And we welcome you back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. We have a special guest with us. He is the very best when it comes to talking Major League Baseball, the Hall of Famer from ESPN. We say hello to our pal, Tim Kurkjian, on the show. Tim, thanks for stopping by. I want to start with you. First and foremost, people know you're from TV, radio, and you now have the podcast with your son. We talked about it last time. Is this a great game or what? People can check it out at greatgameorwhat.com. But you were at the Little League World Series in Williamsport, I believe, last week. How cool was that extra inning game last Sunday night between the Tigers and Yankees with all the kid energy? I know Ed didn't love it as a Yankees fan, and just the whole pageantry of the Little League World Series.
Well, this was my 10th year, and it was my best year there, and the other 9 are tied for second. That's how much fun it is to do the Little League World Series. I mean, let's face it, I'm there for 2 things, scale and context, since half the kids are taller than I am, which is ridiculous. But they are so much fun to be around. They are so good for 12 years old. It's remarkable. And, of course, we had a great game on Sunday night. Tarek Skubal was great. The Tigers came back and won that game. It's a magical place, Williamsport. It's my favorite assignment other than the real World Series every year. And Tito Francona, the great, hilarious former manager, once described Williamsport as it's where baseball meets the county fair. If you've never been there, you got to go. That's how good it is.
You heard it there from Tim, Ed. It was a great game last Sunday night. So get over it. Just because your Yanks lost, and they're still playing great baseball. They're in first place, and Aaron Judge is hitting more home runs than anybody in the world right now. So you can breathe easy, Ed. It's still okay.
Well, my thing, Tim, and good morning to you, Tim, and again, thanks for coming on. My thing was, I watched it. Yeah, I wanted to see the Yankees win. It would have made it. It would have been the whipped cream on the milkshake. But that was one game I didn't really lament that they lost because of the atmosphere. To see those kids hanging with Soto, Judge, and unfairly, some people got on Judge about not signing an autograph to or whatever. And come on now, he can't go around and sign every single autograph, because I think Aaron Judge, among any player, gives as much as himself as he can, because he's like a big kid half the time too. But that you're right, Tim, the pageantry of that and those kids around those big leaguers, they'll talk about that forever.
Yeah, I was on the bus last Sunday with the Tigers, which carried the Tigers team and a bunch of little leaguers. And I was interviewing the players on the bus while they were talking to 12-year-old kids. It was just priceless. Kerry Carpenter of the Tigers, really good hitter, is sitting in the back, and kids are asking him, what's it like to face, Garrett Cole? What's it like to face, Blake Snell? And Kerry Carpenter is back there giving detailed scouting reports on pitchers. It was just the greatest thing, the engagement between the kids and the players. And remember, last year, Bryce Harper walked to home plate during the game. He's going up to take a major league at bat. All the kids are right up against the fence there. And he looks at one of them and he said, "I hope I hit a ball as hard tonight as you did yesterday." I mean, what a thrill of a lifetime for a kid. He was a foot away from Bryce Harper, and it was just magical.
For sure. I know Ed's going to pepper you with some Yankee stuff here in a bit, but Tim, I want to get to another game. Sometimes it can be overstated how big one win was, but for you, the significance of the victory on Friday night for the Baltimore Orioles, as you know, they're the parent club of the Norfolk Tides, who are in our backyard here in the 757 in Tidewater in Virginia. Anthony Santander with the go-ahead blast against the surging Houston Astros. You're feeling on that game, the O's who've had some pitching issues and injuries pop up here, in that American League, which is topsy-turvy right now. And everybody's had great records since the All-Star break, but it's going to be buckle up your seatbelt and enjoy the ride till October.
Right. Well, it was a great win for the Orioles, and it was necessary because the Yankees are getting it together again, and they can't lose sight of where the Yankees are right now. The Orioles also beat a really good and really hot team in the Astros, and they beat the strength of that team, which is the back end of the bullpen, which has finally gotten it together. But they knocked Brian Abreu around pretty hard last night. Huge win for the Orioles. And now they have to figure out how they're going to get to the finish line with all these injured pitchers. Zach Eflin, the last one to go down. But they're going to score enough runs, I think. And I think they still have enough starting pitching to get them where they need to go. But this American League race and National League race wide open right now.
Tim, my thing with
here we go. We're back here with Tim Kurkjian with us on 757 Sports TV. Sorry about that. We lost some audio for a second. But, Ed, you can jump in here with Tim. I mean, I know your man Judge is blasting home runs left and right, but like Tim said, even the AL Central race with Cleveland, Kansas City, Minnesota is tightening, and Bobby Witt Jr., Jose Ramirez have been great. So it's not going to be an easy situation to get home field for your Bronx Bombers.
Yeah, first off, Judge has 49 homers now, and he's going to hit 60, and he's going to win the MVP unless Bobby Witt goes completely crazy the last 5.5 weeks and tears it up and carries single-handedly the Royals into the playoffs. But Judge is having, to me, an even better year than he had when he won the MVP a couple of years ago. He has been stunningly good, and he's doing stuff that only Maris and Mantle and Babe Ruth have done. He's doing it in a way where he's playing defense, he runs the bases, and all he has to do is stay healthy. He's the biggest reason that the Yankees are where they are. And that, again, that American League is wide open. There are no great teams in the American League, but I believe the Orioles, Yankees, Astros, maybe the Guardians or Royals or Twins even could get to the World Series because there's no absolutely tremendous team out there.
Ed?
Yeah, Tim, you mentioned Astros. I don't know why. I just keep thinking in the back of my mind as a team we got to worry about. I say we, the Yankees. And again, I'm not saying the Yankees got anything made. I'm on a couple of Yankee fan sites on social media, and them fans are just – Boone was fired months ago. I think they got rid of Cashman before that, and now I think they want Steinbrenner's head on a plate. It's unbelievable. And they're talking about we should release Verdugo, and Rizzo and DJ are already gone. Them people are just crazy. But I still think we have a race. I still think Baltimore's going to be in it. So many teams go up and down. Yankees had the great start, and then they fishtailed it out of the way. Now maybe Baltimore's sinking a little bit. Injuries are playing a big part of it, and you can't really prepare for injuries. Is there a team out there we're not talking about at all, either league, that, hey, come World Series time, it could be them? And I have to give Matt a little bit of prop because last year was Arizona, and I think they're just under the radar right now to keep an eye on.
Got to get healthy, though. Got to get healthy. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Tim.
Well, we've been over the American League teams. There are 6 of them, maybe 7 that have a chance to go to the World Series. And I think it's the same thing in the National League. Phillies, Braves, Mets. I mean, somebody's going to get hot here. The Brewers are really good, better than people think. The Dodgers, of course, are the Dodgers. And the two, Arizona and San Diego have been the 2 best teams in baseball the second half of the season. Both of those teams are capable of not only going to, but winning the World Series. I do not remember a season, fellas, where we're this late into it, and there is no prohibitive favorite in either league, and this many teams have a chance to get to the World Series and win it. That's why baseball is the greatest game. Is if you get hot at the right time, there's no telling what can happen, as opposed to my second favorite sport, basketball. When Jordan's Bulls were rolling, we already knew pretty much they were going to win the NBA championship. We don't know who's going to win the World Series this year, and there are a whole bunch of options.
You warm Ed's heart with basketball being your second favorite sport. We're talking with the Hall of Famer, ESPN Major League Baseball analyst Tim Kurkjian here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. And also check out the podcast he does with his son, Jeff. Is This a Great Game or What? It's on greatgameorwhat.com. Tim, as you know, I'm a D-backs fan like Ed is a Yankees fan, but I am concerned with some of the pitching and the injuries. Ketel Marte's been dinged up lately. Christian Walker's been out, although Josh Bell's been great. But you just hit on 2 teams. Nobody's playing, or at least for lately, nobody's been playing over 600 baseball the whole year. So people have been squawking about this is a problem for the sport. I'm like you. I think this is fantastic. The parity of the sport. Anybody goes here. 2 teams, though, people like the Phillies and Dodgers the most in the National League. And I'll even admit, as a D-backs fan, the team that worries me is San Diego. They don't have a healthy Yu Darvish yet. He's coming back. They don't have a healthy Fernando Tatis Jr. He's coming back. Jackson Merrill's coming out of nowhere. And the job Pat Murphy's on Milwaukee is just incredible. Speak on those 2. And do you think both of them have legitimate chances? Do you like one more than the other as far as possibly getting to the Fall Classic?
Yeah, look, I like the Phillies and the Dodgers first. However, the Padres are really dangerous because they can hit, and they're going to hit even more when Tatis Jr. comes back. Their starting pitching is loaded, but only when Yu Darvish comes back, which is a question. When's he coming back, and what's he going to look like when he comes back? They have an elite closer, and they are playing with an energy right now. That ballpark lights them up. So I think that's the one team that is not in first place right now that could really do some damage in the postseason.
I miss that used to affect some teams. Late season pickups, waiver wire pickups in August, September. It's now, quote, outlawed, which I'm going to put in the category dumb rule, like the outlawing of the shift. What was Major League Baseball reason for eliminating it? Was that done by the Players Union, or was it management, or a combination of both? But once the trade line is done, the only way you pick up players now is if somebody gets released, you can go ahead and pick them up. And that's how that's how some teams are doing. You've seen a lot of dump off of contracts. But what was the impetus for that? No more waiver wire deal.
Yeah, what they're thinking of is they want everything to come down to the trade deadline, and they don't want guys leaking out in a gentleman's agreement. If you let this guy get through waivers, we'll help you out. That used to happen all the time. It doesn't happen much anymore. I am in favor of all trades have to be done between now and, after the World Series, because I covered the Orioles one year. 1989 was one of the years where on the last day of the season, they were going to make a deal for Mark Langston to come in and pitch the second to last game of the season in order to win one game. Well, it didn't work out, but that's just not how it should be. The team that you have on August the 1st should be the team that you have on October the 1st. I just never liked that, this guy snuck through waivers. That to me, that's not the best way to go.
Understood. And I could see that. I just remember sometimes when they did it legitimately the right way of sneaking guys through waivers, if you could say right way, it built some intrigue. Second rule now, and by the way, I'm also on record. I don't like the ghost runner, and apparently it's working because we don't have games going 14, 15, 16 innings. Yeah. But there's a rule that's been talked about.
Well, this is miserable.
That starting pitchers are going to have to go 6 innings. Now, Tim, once again, I don't know how you mandate somebody can go 6 innings. We're taking strategy, I think, out of the game. Yes, I miss the days of Bob Gibson, Nolan Ryan, Juan Marichal going 9 innings, having 22 complete games, pitching 200 some innings or having 300 some strikeouts. Those days are probably long gone. But you're going to mandate a starting pitcher has to go 6 innings. Your thoughts?
Well, we have to return the value of the starting pitcher to the game. It drives me crazy that we get to the postseason and we have a bullpen game in the World Series. That's not what the World Series is supposed to be about. Look, I'm a little old man now, but I grew up where Jim Palmer faced Sandy Koufax in the World Series, and Bob Gibson faced Jim Lonborg, and Bob Gibson faced, Denny McClain. We don't do that anymore. So I would love to see the value of the starting pitcher return. I just don't know how we do it, but I know this. 6 innings is a necessity. No, that's not going to happen. Now, there are rules. If you throw 100 pitches, you can come out before 6 innings. If you give up 4 more earned runs, you can come out. And, of course, if you get hurt. But our managers' hands are tied enough as it is, and it is time to untie those hands more. But making a starting pitcher have to go 6 innings is just not the way to go.
I'm with you 100%, Tim. It handcuffs the managers, even though we do need to get starting pitchers to go longer. We got to find a solution there. Last one for me, and Ed will finish up with one more. We thank you so much. So gracious with your time here. MVPs feel like foregone conclusions. Judge in the AL, Shohei Ohtani in the NL, although there are other good players, obviously Gunnar Henderson, Bobby Witt, Jose Ramirez, my guy Ketel Marte before he got dinged up with the D-backs, among others. How about the Cy Young Awards? Because you don't hear as much of those chatter who's going to get those honors in the NL and AL. In the AL, I thought it was Corbin Burns for a while. Does Emmanuel Clase, a closer who's been money for Cleveland, have any chance whatsoever at it?
He does, but I think Tarek Skubal is the Cy Young in the American League right now. As of the other day, he was the Triple Crown winner he was on the way to being the Triple Crown winner of pitching in the American League. And I think in the National League, it's Chris Sale of the Braves at the moment, because he has a chance to win the Triple Crown of pitching in the National League. So it's a crazy year. But that's who I see for the moment. But I've seen this 100 times, fellas. We remember the last thing we see. And if someone just gets red hot the last 5 weeks, that person can win the Cy Young. But I think it's Skubal and Sale at the moment.
Awesome. Well, Ed wants to finish up with you here, Tim. I think with our Major League Baseball over-unders, we do this every year to begin the season. We each pick 5 of them. So, Ed, go ahead and read those for Timmy here on the screen, who he thinks will win. I have a bad feeling you're going to beat me this year after I think I beat you the last couple of years in this.
Well, Matt had Baltimore over 90.5.
He's going to win that one. He has
Arizona over 83.5.
He's going to win that.
The Cubs over 83.5.
He's going to lose that. Cubs have been a bit of a disappointment.
Yankees under 98.5.
He's going to lose that.
And Minnesota under 85.5.
He's going to lose that too. Twins are pretty good. They got a great bullpen.
I messed up, now, Tim. Here's Ed. Go ahead.
Here's me. I have the Mets. Lord, I have to laugh. Over 82.5.
You're going to win that. They have a chance to make the playoffs.
Good. I have Cleveland over 77.5.
You're going to win that by a mile.
Brilliant.
I knew it.
He stole that one from me, Tim. I wanted that one so bad. He stole it from me. Go ahead, Ed.
I have Cincinnati. Lord help me. Over 82.5.
You're going to lose that. Sorry, Reds just aren't ready. They will be soon.
And I think Bell is out. Under 90.5, Texas.
We're going to be way under, and I didn't see that coming.
And San Francisco under 83.5.
Yeah, I think they'll win 81, 82, 83 games, but I think under 83.5 is a winner.
Well, thank you, Tim, because I'm going to blow Matt out of the water once again.
Yeah. Well, Tim, next year I'm going to hit you up before we do this so you can give me some help to beat Ed.
No, that's unfair. Can't do that. Tim plays impartial. That's one good thing about Tim. He's impartial.
Yeah. Well, hey, Tim, thank you so much. Check out his work, ESPN, TV, radio, greatgamerwhat.com, the podcast. Have a great run to October, and we'll talk to you on the road, my friend.
Okay, Matthew. Okay, Ed. See you.
Thanks, Tim.
It's the one and only Tim Kurkjian with us here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. How cool was that to have Tim Kurkjian assess our over-unders? He's saying, what am I doing with these two yahoos? That's just
that's what I thought, too. He'd be like, okay, they're asking me about this over and under. But you know what? He did it gracefully right into it.
By the way, we do have the graphic, unfortunately, says for 2023. It's actually 2024. So that we'll have to fire the intern. It wasn't Jack, it wasn't Nick, it wasn't Chuck. It was little Noel's friend that did that for me the other day that put that up there. So we got to fix that part. Other than that, everything else was right on the over-unders. So not 2023. It should say, can we get little Crayola and put 2024 on that? I don't know if we can, but
yeah, that would be good to do.
You're going to go 4-1. I'm going to go 2-3. You're right.